Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat.
Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening sa inyong lahat.
Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Ako nga pala si Jean Kenneth M. Ilagan.
Ako si Louis Benedict Ignacio.
I am Albert Alvin H. De Jesus.
This is Dr. Giselle Barion.
This is Telma Maranya.
This is Attorney Dwight Ramos.
I am Dr. Evelyn Songko and I am happy to be with you.
Ikinagagalak ko makasama kayong lahat sa isa na namang makabuluhang kwentuhan dito sa Bridges.
Excited naman ako sa introduction mo, Dr. Louis. And I'm really so excited to be here.
It's really my pleasure to be invited here because this is a very good platform po. Not to be only bridging faith, hope, and love, but at the same time bridging the bond between the alumni and their alma mater.
Kaya tayo merong Santa Cruzan as a culminating activity of our devotional practices to the Blessed Mother, because all devotion to the Blessed Mother should always lead to Jesus.
Ang mga popular na issue sa mga Pilipino, no? Yung mga may kinalaman sa sikmura, mga economic issues, trabaho, inflation. Pero kahit ganyan pa, makikita na ang mga Pilipino nagbibigay ng attention sa mga political issues gaya ng West Philippine Sea issue.
We need our future generations to meet their own needs without sacrificing also yung mga needs natin na nararanasan natin ngayon. So we need this clean air, malinis na hangin, malinis na tubig, yung lupa natin hindi pa poison, then okay pa yung mga karagatan natin, okay pa yung mga kabundukan natin.
O kaya naman dati maayos ang pagsasamahan ng mag-asawa, bigla na lang may nangyayari na hindi nila inaakala at yung kanilang family bond humihina. Pati yung relasyon nila sa Diyos biglang humihina.
I love you. I love Jesus, Holy Spirit, and Mama Mary. Thank you and God bless.
It's not out there to, lose taxpayers. Pag nalugi yung taxpayers, hindi mo babawasan yung magbabayad ng tax.
First and foremost, we embrace change. We need to cultivate our passion for learning and to be flexible based sa Thomasian values ng commitment, competence, and compassion.
Go back to your core. When things are really, really tough, when you're going through transitions, when you're going through changes, go back to who you are as a person and as a leader. And at the same time, yung core values natin as Thomasians dati, perfect din parate as a guide for me. Always have to be competent, you always have to be committed, and more importantly, the compassion side of it is going to be your edge in any kind of workplace that you're going to be working.
Happy anniversary to Bridges. Here at Bridges, we build bridges of faith, bridges of hope, and bridges of love.
As we celebrate Women's Month, the UST Alumni Association, Inc. shares in the theme Babae sa lahat ng sektor, aangat ng bukas ng bagong Pilipinas. We find women highly engaged in different kinds of human endeavors, social, cultural, political, economic, and technological. They take on very significant role in the family, the church, in the workplace, in the community, and in the society. Through the years, the women, particularly the Filipino women, have manifested strength, courage, and dedication as they move up the ladder of their career. We salute all the women in the world. Happy Women's Month. I'm Attorney Dwight Ramos, the President of the UST Alumni Association, Inc. Good day, everyone. And with me today is Miss Visitacion Asidao, whom we call Bess, and who is an alumnus of the UST High School. She was formerly affiliated with the Department of Foreign Affairs.
Hello, hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon to our viewers. Good afternoon, Attorney Dwight, Commissioner of the National Solid Waste Management. I am Bess Asidao. To our viewers, I am called Bess, and I am the UST AAI coordinator for advocacy.
Yes.
I'm proud to say that because I'm just newly minted as one. Before we start, Attorney Dwight, let me invite everyone, all of our viewers, to like and share our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. Sir, kamusta na po, Attorney Dwight?
Good. And we're all getting busy, of course, with our work and the advocacies that we have at the UST Alumni Association, Inc. Ikaw naman, Ma'am Bess, how are you? Welcome back to Bridges.
Thank you, Attorney. We had a long hiatus on Bridges, di ba? So I'm very proud na tayo yung first hosts. The Women's Month is fitting month to start with our Bridges show. I identify myself as a DFAer, and sa DFA namin ang daming mga women officers. In fact, the personnel constitutes about 58% of the entire population. My Tumason teachers as well as the DFA women personnel, they are all trailblazers, and I'm proud to be part and graduate of those two institutions.
Yes, and that being said, of course, I'm sure you're proud to be a woman yourself.
Siyempre. Proud to be
I'm
one.
sure. Yes, and I'm sure excited ka na to meet
I
our
am.
guest for today.
I am. But since our special guest comes from your sector, she is a lawyer, and so kayo na po ang mag-introduce.
All
sa
right.
ating
Let,
guest.
let me do that. So our special guest today is a brilliant and accomplished lawyer and public servant with a deep understanding of both our judicial and legislative systems. With a legal career spanning more than 20 years, she has shown remarkable ability to navigate the intricacies and nuances of the law and expertly balancing them in her current capacity as Deputy Secretary for Legislation. She began her career in the Senate in 2009 as the Chief Legal and Legislative Staff of the Office of then Majority Leader Senator Juan Miguel F. Zubiri. She moved up to several other positions in the Senate after that. She completed her law and undergraduate studies degrees, of course, from the University of Santo Tomas, and she became a member of the Philippine Bar in 2007. She obtained a master's degree in public safety administration from the Philippine Public Safety College, and she has attended training programs conducted by local and international institutions, including Washington University, Japan International Cooperation Agency or JICA, Australian University, and Hertie School in Berlin, and the Development Academy of the Philippines, among others. May I present our special guest, our Secretary for Legislation of the Philippine Senate, Attorney Marivic Laurel Garcia.
Welcome to the show, Attorney Marivic. We are happy to have you with us despite your very busy schedule. We are honored.
Maraming salamat po. Magandang hapon po sa lahat. Sir Dwight and Ma'am Bessie, maraming salamat po sa pagkakataon na ito. Isa pong malaking karangalan ang maging guest po dito sa napakagandang plataforma po upang pahayag at makapagpalitan tayo ng mga kuro-kuro po.
And syempre, coming at this time of the Women's Month, we're showing
Lalo
really
na po.
women power.
Yes po. Maraming salamat po.
Yes. And of course, you have been in the practice of law in legislation for quite some time now. How would you describe your experience as a woman lawyer?
Very challenging yet very fulfilling. That's the shortest description I can give po as a woman lawyer, especially in an institution like the Senate po. It pays to work something that would have great impact on our nation and to the people that we are serving po. So, maraming mahirap pero sa huli po mas masarap kunin yung prutas po ng ating paghihirap para mapaganda po kung ano man ang trabahong ating naatasan.
Yes, and that being said, I'm sure that yung oras, yung inyong araw, yung inyong taon ay napakabilis because of all the things that are happening around you, and all of the things that you have to do. So how would you describe a typical day in the Senate?
Well, sir, a typical day in the Senate is very demanding, very, as I've said, it's challenging, but at the same time, fulfilling in a sense na lahat po ng ginagawa mo would have an impact not only to yourself po as a lawyer, but to the institution that you're serving, and eventually would fall po doon sa mga maaapektuhan ng ginagawa namin, especially my position po that I'm involved in legislation, the very core mandate of the Senate po as a legislative branch of the government. Diyan yung dapat lagi kang nakikinig sa lahat. Hindi po pwedeng isang sektor lang ang pakikinggan mo, lalo na sa paggawa po ng mga polisiya or ng batas. Alam mong balansehin, at higit sa lahat, you know how to decide at the end of the day because decisions has to be made po. So we can move as a nation po.
Right.
I'm interested to know the structure of the Senate kasi parang ang complex nga nung issue, complex pa rin within internally yung kung sino-sino kayo, because I imagine marami kayo in the office of the Senate. How is it organized?
In general po yung Senado, ma'am, it's grouped into two divisions po. Yung sinasabi po naming Senate proper, which is the office of the senators po and their staff. And then we have the Senate Secretariat po. Kami po yung mga organic employees po in the Senate in terms that we are permanent po. We're not coterminous with the senators po. So, sa dalawang sektor pong yon, nabibilang po ako sa secretariat, and I'm one of the deputy secretaries po. We have several deputy secretaries in the Senate Secretariat. We have the deputy secretary for admin. We have the deputy secretary for external affairs po. We have the protocol. We have the Senate legal. We have the budget po that handles the national budget, tax division po. For that matter, we have the economic policy, and yung pangkalahatan po na finance and administration po namin.
Marami pala siyang division, no? Pero at the same time, I'm sure etong question ko will be shared by many of our viewers kasi complex din yung paggawa ng bill ng isang law. Sabi mo nga yung division is like the heart of the Senate. So from the katang isip of something, an idea, how does it translate into becoming a law? Can you walk us through it?
Okay, ma'am. Just to give you a very basic po narrative of how we craft laws, magsisimula po yan sa isang measure na ifa-file ng isa po sa mga 24 senators natin. Yung bill pong iyon, ire-refer po namin yan sa tamang committee po. Currently, we have 41 standing committees in the Senate po, which deals on different sectors such as education, environment, energy, justice, among few others po. And then that committee po will conduct a hearing, would hear all the stakeholders position po, yung mga involved po, come up with it's either a consolidated bill or substitute bill na bago po, at yun po ang ire-refer ng committee or ibabato nila sa plenaryo. Pag sinabi ko pong plenaryo, ma'am, yun na po yung pangkalahatan, yung buong 24 senators, although currently we only have 23 senators with the appointment of former Senator Angara and now Secretary Angara of the Education. So pagdedebatihan po yan, i-discuss po yan sa plenary, magkakaroon ng mga konting amendments or po pwede rin pong vital amendments po, depende po sa napagdebatihan nila, napag-usapan on the floor po. Pagkatapos po, ipapasa po ang second reading na sinasabi natin, and then we have to wait for 3 days po para maaprubahan namin on third reading or kung sinertipikahan po ng Pangulo ng Pilipinas na urgent yung measure na yon, i-approve din po namin on the same day. Tapos po, kung meron na po kang House bill, sa kabilang House naman po, sa House of Representatives, ibabangga po namin sa isang tinatawag nating bicameral conference. At doon po ang Senado at ang House po would come up with a reconciled bill na eventually po ipapadala namin sa Malacanang para pirmahan, kung hindi man po ibibito ng presidente, but most of the time inaaprobahan po ng presidente, at yun po ang magiging ganap nating bagong polisiya o bagong batas po. Medyo pag tinignan nyo po, madali, pero pagka yung buong ano na po, detalye, medyo maano rin po siya. Mahirap din po, lalo na kapag nag-uwi kayo ng mga different positions po ng iba't ibang sektor. But I think that's one of the major qualification for a legislation, the art of compromise po, without sacrificing the quality and the very essence of the measure that we want to pass. So
Yes.
yun po. I hope nasagot ko po yung sa isang maiksing sagutan po kung paano nagkakaroon ng batas.
Oh, you did. Ang haba pala nun, Attorney Ramos.
Yeah.
Attorney
That's
Dwight,
yes. Yeah.
apart from that, so merong magandang, they come up with a very good bill kasi nati-thresh out na lahat, hindi ba?
Yes,
Parang filtered na siya. Pero in your experience, who comes out, what would be the quality of a good legislator?
Sa akin po, ma'am, ang unang-unang magandang kwalifikasyon ng isang legislator, yun meron po siyang maibibigay sa institusyon po in terms of experience, knowledge, and ano po ba yung advokasya niya. Doon po kasi magsisimula kung gaano niya patatakbuhin yung karera niya po bilang isang legislator. So talagang kailangan knowledgeable ka sa ginagawa. You know our rules, our parliamentary procedures po. Sabi ko nga po sa ilang mga lectures ko, I've been a lawyer. I studied law for another 4 years po after college. Pero yung mga bagay na ginagawa po namin dito sa Senado, hindi ko po kailanman nabasa o nakita sa mga law books ko in terms of the parliamentary procedure. Yung tamang pagsasalita po sa plenaryo, tamang pagkandak ng hearing. Wala po yan sa mga inaral ko noon sa 4 na taon sa law school. Pero natutunan ko lang po by being here in the Senate institution, knowing what should be done in terms of crafting a policy po. Pangatlo po sigurong kwalifikasyon would be the art of compromise, as I've mentioned po, kasi hindi naman po pwedeng pag gumawa ka ng batas, isang sektor lang ang titignan mo. Meron at meron pong maaapektuhan na sektor. So ano ba ang objective natin? I-mitigate ba kung anong magiging effect sa sektor na to? Pero at the same time, ang objective natin ngayon, bigyan ng solusyon kung ano man po yung nararanasan ng sektor na gusto nating tulungan. Pang-apat na kwalifikasyon would be a senator po or a legislator should be able to learn new things. Yung open po siya. Wala pong monopolya ng may alam lang kung sino lang ang po pwedeng maging legislator. But at the same time po, as I've mentioned, you have something to offer to the table po. Because the Senate has been there for how many years na po. We have seen great legislators, so it is right and proper po to keep that tradition and legacy of excellent legislators that we have in the past po, that shaped our nation then kung nasaan po tayo ngayon.
Yes, and obviously, no, Ma'am Bes, no, si Attorney Marivic, we can say na naisabuhay na talaga niya ang Senate, ano. the way she described what needs to be done and what she's doing there and everything else in between. mukhang ito na yung kumbaga ito na yung you are breathing no life
Yes
in
po.
the Senate. And talking about it, she was saying that in the book she did not read about this in the law books. Pero Attorney Marivic, did you ever have a hint that when you were studying law or you were thinking of a legal career, did you see even for like just a hint that you will be working in the Senate nung
And
ikaw nasa UST pa?
in all honesty, sir, when I was still in UST po, ang nakikita contract ko nun is I'll be a corporate lawyer po eh. Hindi po sa hinagap ko na naisip na I'll end up in the Senate. Although I came from a family of politicians po, so being in the government is nothing new to me. But when I had the chance to work with Senator Zubiri before po, nung naging majority leader siya, being a young lawyer, I was looking for something more fulfilling in terms of what I'm doing as a lawyer. Coming from a law firm po, sabi ko parang mas gusto ko yung ginagawa ko may impact hindi lang sa akin, hindi lang doon sa kliyente ko. So, I grabbed the chance to be part of the legis team of Senator Zubiri then, and luckily, we were exposed being former majority leader po. So na-expose ako agad sa practice po sa Senado. Yung naka-interact po namin agad yung mga 24 senators during that time. The likes po nila Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, Senator Juan Ponce Enrile, Senator Ed Angara Sr., Joker Arroyo po. So doon po medyo sabi ko, uy, parang magtatagal ako dito sa Senado because I'm really learning a lot po in terms of pagiging patriotic, pagiging nationalistic po, and then yung pag-deal sa mga tao. Napakagandang experience po. And without me realizing it has been my way of life, as you mentioned, Attorney Dwight, hinihinga ko na nga ang buhay sa Senado po.
Yes, yes. And going back just a bit more, I believe you were also a student leader, right?
Yes,
In
at that time po when I was in UST.
did this help you in your job now in the Senate?
I would say yes po, definitely, because being an officer of the Central Student Council, way back 2005 or 4, if I'm not mistaken, you get to deal with different colleges po eh. I'm not just concentrated with one college or the law itself. Meron kaming from different colleges. Iba ang issue sa College of Education, sa issue sa engineering. So, ganun din, naihahambing ko pa rin po siya sa naging trabaho ko dito sa Senado. When we are crafting laws, when we conduct hearings, iba yung concern ng sektor ng mga consumer sa sektor ng mga kapitalista. So, babalansihin niyo po, but at the same time, ando doon yung objective ng student leader ako to maintain the strength and the quality of Tomasian students, the good quality that the UST produce in terms of its graduates. Ganun din po dito sa paggawa namin ng batas. We aim to address the issues of not only the consumers but balance it with the producers as well or the capitalist po. So nakuha ko po. It's a good training for me. Plus at the same time, yung pakikipag-deal mo rin po sa mga professors natin to be guided, to be able to learn something from them despite of you having an education already, despite of me being a lawyer, I still get to learn things from people from different groups from different sectors po.
Yes, and that's why when you describe the traits of probably a good legislator, you mentioned about compromise, and you were actually talking about this balancing act that one must be able to portray, no? And of course, malapit ng election, I hope that they will heed the advice that you have given. Medyo marami kang nabanggit na good qualities and
one thing that the people should observe for a great legislator po, for a great senator, more than the qualities that I've mentioned, is their commitment and their compassion po to serve the people the truest essence of serving the people and our nation po. Not just for any interest that would only be for the benefit of a certain group of or their family or anything, but I think yun po yung kulang ngayon sa gobyerno natin, yung tunay na commitment and compassion to serve po, hindi lamang para maprotektahan or maipursue kung ano man yung mga sariling kapakanan. I think yun po yung kailangan more than any of the qualities I've mentioned. Secondary na lang po yung lahat ng yun.
And that being said, we are confident that there are many Filipinos who can actually do that and who can serve very well, di ba?
Yes, sir. We just have to be very critical, very keen, and napakasagrado po ng boto natin, lalo na po sa panahon ngayon. So, wag po natin siyang sayangin kasi nakita ko na po yun. Marami naman pong magagaling na nai-elect, pero mas kaya pa natin silang paramihin if we will really be very critical to that sense.
That's right. And dapat talaga babagay sa legislative functions, no? But are there also non-legislative functions in the Senate?
Yes, sir. Pagka just to ano lang po, short pagka sinabi na nating legislative, klaro na 'yon, yung paggawa ng batas, pagpasa ng kung ano mang pong mga resolution that would really pursue government policy po. Pagka non-legislative naman po, meron din pong role ang Senado po or ang Kongreso. Isa na dyan, yung mainit ngayon na usapin, yung sa impeachment po. Definitely, we are mandated. Why do I say it's a non-legislative po? Because it's something that the Senate or the House will not usually do on a daily basis po, being a legislative branch of government. But it's a special duty and obligation imposed by our Constitution to the Senate itself. Kasama rin po dyan yung pag-canvass ng mga boto po para sa Presidente at sa Vice President po. Senado at House din po ang gumagawa nun. We are also involved in the confirmation of the appointments by the executive po. Yun po yung tinatawag nating Commission on Appointments, and also the electoral tribunals by both houses po, the House and the Senate, when there's an issue with regard to those elected po as senator and congressman, it's their respective electoral tribunals. And of course, we're also part of the JBC or the Judicial Bar and Council po that nominates, I don't know if I use the proper term, but nominates or shortlist those that are for the judiciary appointments by the executive po. We're part also of that. So those are some of the non-legislative functions that we perform under as mandated by the Constitution po.
So yun, also going back to yung sinasabi mong being critical, kasi with the coming election, one has to really be critical about choosing their candidates. Pero yung ngayon, kasi iba na yung natin, landscape, hindi ba?
Yes.
There's social media, the strong presence of the social media, nag-shape yan ng ng public opinion. How does this public opinion shape our legislation?
Sa amin po, ma'am, sa Senado, if I may quote one of the, may not be verbatim, but the very famous lines said by former Senate President Manuel L. Quezon. Ang House of Representatives po, it's like the thermometer that's very sensitive to the needs of the people. Being district or sila yung mas nakababa po sa tao, ang House of Representatives. Kami po sa Senado, we are the more matured, more serene. Kami po yung nasa taas or ang tinitingnan po namin yung kabuuan, hindi lamang po isang rehiyon or isang lugar sa Pilipinas, but yung kabuuan po. So sa amin po dito sa Senado, yung pagiging critical namin, it's very important. We are not easily swayed by the public opinion. Kasi ang public opinion minsan po dala ng bugso ng damdamin eh. So kami po, nasanay po kami sa Senado, and the kind of senators that I have witnessed in my almost 20 years po here in the Senate, they're not very reactive but very critical in terms of tama ba yung nararamdaman? Tama ba ang gustong mangyari sa panahong to? Ito ba ang gustong ma-achieve? Ito ba ang objective natin? And then at the same time, mindful po ang Senado sa ano ang magiging epekto ng public opinion na ito, or ano ang magiging epekto ng gagawin namin if we will heed with the public opinion. Ganun po ang nakita ko, at hanggang ngayon po, ganun din po ang Senado. Sometimes nga po natatawag kaming mabagal na kapulungan. Pero that's how we do our work here, to ensure that everything will be covered, and that at the same time, dahil po ang mga senador natin ay inelect ng buong Pilipinas, so talagang yung accountability and yung responsibility po nila, hindi lamang po para sa isang lugar, kundi sa buong Pilipinas po. So mas maingat, mas masinsin po kaming mag-isip, mas mahinahon po kami in terms of coming up with the right move and the right decisions on the part of the Senate po.
Yes,
Public opinion really matters, but it's just one factor po. That's how we would see it, because at the end of the day, ano yung mas pangmatagalang solusyon na gusto nating ma-achieve po. That's how we work here in the Senate.
And probably no matter how strong that public opinion, still it has to play a certain role in the whole gamut of making the right decisions, no?
Yes,
And so
I
Ma'am
would
Des,
agree.
what I'm hearing from attorneys, talagang mahirap yung trabaho nila sa Senate, yung mga secretariat, no, and the professionals working there. But more so also for our senators, no? Tataka ngayon ako, ba't marami pang gustong mag-senador?
Actually, yan din po ang tanong ko, kasi po sa amin, yung tinanong niyo po ako kanina, how's our day in the Senate? Magsisimula po yan sa isang committee hearing. Matatapos po yan sa plenary session na hindi namin alam kung hanggang kailan matatapos, because our sessions would usually end, average na po ang 9 to 10 in the evening po. That's on the average lang po. Pero kung meron kaming talagang kailangang tutukan na polisiya po or bill na batas, we really work until the following day po. Walang tulugan, kumbaga, sabi nga ni Kuya Germs, walang tulugan. We really end up po ng mga 3:00 na madaling araw. So, doon natin makikita, and I always say this to the people I talk to, kung tatanungin nila ako, ano ba sukatan para masabing naging magaling siyang senador? Nasa bilang ba yun ng mga batas na i-file niya? Or ano ba? Kasi marami kami nakikita sa mga ads, inakda ang ganitong batas, daan-daang batas. Sabi ko, in my experience sa secretariat, ang titingnan nyo, ilang batas ba ang na-sponsor at na-defend niya? Ibig sabihin, ilang batas yung siya yung tumindig, nag-defend, siya yung nagsabing kailangan natin to, sinagot lahat ang mga tanong tungkol sa batas na to. Kasi madali lang mag-akda, madali lang mag-file. Pero kung ilang batas yung kaya mong napanindigan at sa huli na alam mo by heart, naintindihan mo, yun ang sukatan kung naging mabuti siyang or magaling siyang senador.
Correct, oo. Meron din also, life is not constant, hindi ba? Continuous yung ating mga changes. So ngayon, ano yung mga future or globe trends ngayon that you think will impact the future of our legislation?
Wow. I think, ma'am, maraming bagay ngayon na wala nung panahon sinauna. Dati, hindi po nakikita kung gaano kagagaling ang ating mga senador sa pagdedebate. Makikita lang natin yan kung mismong pupunta ka po sa Senado, sa plenaryo namin. Pero ngayon, makikita mo na yan kasi naka-livestream na po yung mga sessions po namin, even our committee hearing. I-cover man yan o hindi ng mainstream media, pumunta lang po kayo sa website namin, makikita nyo po kung papaano. So I think those changes would really shape and should really shape how senators should be elected. So they will know ano ba ang dapat na pagpapatakbo ng isang committee hearing. Papaano ba dapat idepensa ang isang bill? Ano ba ang dapat na maipaliwanag sa taong bayan kapag dinidepensahan ng bill kung bakit siya kailangan? So yung mga ganong bagay po, napakalaking pagbabago po yun. And I'm really hoping with every Filipino citizen na meron pong access sa internet, wala na po yatang tao ngayon ang walang smartphone. They can easily check that over their phone. Minsan lang, bago po, siguro sabihin natin, bago magmayo 12, tignan nyo lang po yung mga past hearings and sessions na meron po kami. Baka doon po maliwanagan and it really can shape, maliit na bagay, but it really can shape how the 20th Congress will be. So, yung mga ganong maliit na pagbabago po.
Oo, I agree with you on that kasi kunyari if I take a taxi, yung taxi driver, knowledgeable siya, alam niya kasi naka-tune in siya sa radio. Punta ako sa parlor, alam din ng mga gumugupit sa'yo kung yung mga topics na that interest them. Nakakatuwa din naman talaga that there is a high engagement sa politics or, well, not politics, but maybe yung sa crafting ng natin, what's going on in the legislative branch.
The political landscape. And I'd also like to mention that the importance of the Senate, as a trivia po, of the 17 presidents that we have, 11 came from the Senate po. There were former senators. So the Senate po talaga, as I always say, it's a training ground going to the palace po. So talagang hindi tayo po pwedeng basta maglugluk lang ng kung sino dyan ang nag-file at gusto nang maging senador. Maging critical po tayo sa pagboto natin sa kanila kasi hindi natin alam sa 12 iboboto nyo po ngayong May 12, baka in the future yan po ang maging presidente natin at yan ang humawak ng bansa natin. So might as well, let's have a very strict and high standard in choosing our senators po.
That's a good reminder, hindi ba, Attorney Dwight?
Yeah, and already the way Attorney Marivic has described life in the Senate, yung daily grind na dinescribe niya sa atin at pinento niya sa atin, it's not an easy job. It's really difficult, challenging, and not only that, yung pinapasan na responsibilidad being in the Senate and being a senator it's not really something that is light, no, and that we're only talking of the daily grind, yung pang-araw-araw, and comes a time lalo na ngayon tulad ng mga panahon na to that more than the daily grind of the Senate, meron pa yung mga daunting challenges.
Meron pa po yung mga political issues at hand that would one way or another affect the performance of the duties that we have here in the Senate po as a legislative branch of the government.
Yes, and there are many now.
So many po.
Pakahirap, but that's why of course we have professionals like you who, as you said, are not coterminous, no. The senators come in and go out of the Senate, but the professional group, the secretariat, those who are serving in the Senate will always be there, just like yourself. But looking at you and looking at yourself, yung personal challenges naman, of course, being a woman, it's a man's world, we know still. And of course, being a woman, you have other challenges at home, professionally, of course. Kindly describe to us some of these challenges that you have in your personal life.
I think, sir, if it's worthy to mention also, we have 7 of the 23 senators that we have now are ano po, women po, and 30% they're not just ordinary senators, but they're one of those who really fight for something that they believe in po. Ako naman po, on my personal level po, ang lagi kong driving factor po pagka ginagawa kong isang bagay, I always make sure whatever I do, it's something that would add, or one in my own little way will add or contribute to make our country, the world, a better place po. Nung dalaga pa lang ako, ganun lagi yung ano ko po, motivation na parang at least yung gagawin ko merong maitutulong para mas mapaganda, mas maging maayos kung ano man yung dinatnan ko. Much more po ngayon na bilang ina ng 2 bata po. So talagang lagi ko sinasabi, and asawa po ng isa ring equally busy na public servant, sabi ko, this is our own way lang to contribute and ensure that in years to come, medyo mas maayos yung Pilipinas na iiwanan namin sa mga anak namin. So, it may be so cliche to hear, pero yun po yung aking motivation, and I think that's one reason but din po ako tumagal being in the government. Working in the government po for almost 2 decades. It pays po to have that kind of moral compass at the end of the day. So no matter how busy or hard life will be, our daily schedule will be, the demands of our work, yun lang po yung palagi kong babalikan, and I'm okay na po.
True. And I guess that goes to all our other government workers. No, marami, Ma'am Bes, well, just like yourself, I know.
Tayong tatlo po, sir, di ba?
Yes.
I bet
Myself
po,
and you.
napakaganda na nasa gobyerno. We may not have the opportunity all our lives, but at least po, at one point, we are able to contribute something to our nation po.
Yes, that's true. And especially if, as you mentioned, you find the moral compass na rin to really do something that will make it worthwhile. Di ba, Ma'am Bes, all your years in the DFA, that I'm sure you've also experienced that.
Many times. And I would go back to doing the same things all over.
I think innate na po sa atin yun bilang Tomasino.
Correct ka dyan.
Diba po, marami pong nagsasabi lagi ng ganyan eh. Sabi ko, yan po yung natutunan ko from UST po, from the time na high school ako, mag-college po ako hanggang law school po. Lagi po kami tinatanong ng mga professors namin, ng mga kaparian, anong kabutihan ang naidulot ng ginawa mo? So, yun po yung palagi kong ano po, driving factor in everything that I do here, lalo na po sa Senado.
Ganda yung mga sinabi mo. Pero going back to yung sa UST, ano yung mga memorable moments, or what was your experience like as a student here at the UST?
Sa akin, ma'am, I find it really a blessing to be in the Tomasian community, kasi yung UST itself, it's situated in a city na exposed ka sa lahat ng klase ng tao, klase ng pamumuhay. Lumabas ka lang po sa Espanya, makikita mo yung pinakamahirap. But at the same time, pagbalik mo, meron ka ring mga nakakasalamuhang alam mong one way or another, blessed po. So, nababalanse mo siya. Yung mulat ka sa realidad ng buhay, naranasan ko pong makapag-commute, definitely. Naranasan ko rin pong sumakay sa aming sasakyan ng naka-aircon ka habang nakikita mo yung mga tao sa labas na nag-iintay. So, kitang-kita ko po. I think that experience as a Tomasian po, enjoying or exposed to the different realities of life, that's one thing po na treasure ko and nadala ko kahit po sa trabaho ko. We have a very well-rounded activities for the students. Hindi lang po yung academe yung na nurture sa amin, but more than anything, yung pagiging Tomasino, pagiging Pilipino, pakikipagkapwa-tao po. naalala ko yung pagkakasali ko po sa Central Student Council. It's not by accident, but mere curiosity because I want to expand my world or my connections po, yung mga nakakasalamuha ko. And yun po ang isang thankful po ako sa UST. There's always an opportunity for you to connect to different kinds of people and learn something new po. So masaya yung ano po sa UST kung madami ka pang baon ng Monday, makakakain ka sa mga medyo
Cake.
opo, pero pagka mga kapus-kapus ka na, pwede ka na po sa tabi-tabi diyan. Meron pa rin po at meron. So yun ang gusto ko po sa UST at yun yung isang hinahanap ko po yung buhay Tomasino na palaging meron kang magagawa.
I think totoo yan, Ma'am Bes, no? Actually, kami mag-asawa pag nag-uusap kami at napag-usapan namin ng isang bata at sabi namin, saan ba nag-aaral yan? Pag sinabing UST, ang reaction namin, ay, tao yan.
Diba, sir? We are really very grounded, but at the
Yes.
same time, ano rin po may ambisyon, hopeful po na we will really succeed and do something that would really benefit other people po. Hindi lang yung pagiging ano po siguro, yung pagiging hindi makasarili. Nakuha ko po yun sa Tomasian family and community that I was in for how many years po as a Tomasian.
Good. Coming along that lines, would you encourage women or the entire population to follow your path going into the government service?
Ako po masasabi ko yung although we have a very hectic schedule po here in the Senate, ang kagandahan naman po sa amin sa Senate or sa government po, there will always be weekends for the family, for the kids po as much as possible. We are lucky to have a 4-day work, although it's 10 hours a day po, but at least the Fridays, the Saturdays, and the Sundays are really devoted to the family po, which I think is very crucial for women like me po na may mga anak but at the same time meron din pong career. It's good to have a day na makakahinga ka and you really get to spend time with your kids. Although may times din pong minsan nawawala yung mga ganong weekends, pero yun nga para sa bayan, but on general naman po I would love women of my kind to be engaged in government service po, lalo na kung Tomasino. Napakaganda po nun. Alam na natin yung kaya nung ibigay sa gobyerno at sa institusyon kung saan man po siya papasok. I think we need more Tomasians in the government sector po. It will really make a big change, not only in our political landscape, but the quality of service that the government provides for its people po. I would
Yes.
love to.
And again, you go back to saying really it's a balancing act. And knowing that you and your husband are of course very much involved in government work and nowadays are very busy. Do you bring this home or how do you how do you balance?
Hindi ko po masasabing minsan hindi namin maiiwasang pag-usapan kasi one way or another po konektado ang mga trabaho namin bilang ang aking pong asawa ay COMELEC chairman, so dealing with the government. Minsan may bill ang COMELEC sa amin, pag-uusapan siya. Pero sa pangkalahatan po, the moment we entered our house in the evening, at the end of our very busy schedule, we would leave everything at the doorstep and have a renewed smile and energized body for our mind and body for our kids po. So sa huli, family pa rin ang importante and dapat hindi maramdaman yung bigat na naramdaman mo sa iyong trabaho po. So we have that. And I think it works na pareho kaming lawyer, pareho kaming busy, medyo madaling magkaintindihan but at the same time madali rin pong magkabasahan kung pagod na or hindi.
And so a lot of understanding both sides, ano po?
Yes po, definitely. It's given na po. if kaya naming intindihin ang mga politikong nakakasalamuha namin sa pang-araw-araw, mas kaya po naming intindihin ang isa't isa. That's how we run our our home.
Yes, and well, not only the no, not only the everyday people that you meet, but really yung binabanggit kanina talaga rin ni Ma'am Bes, yung public opinion is really something that's not only affect actually your work. Sometimes it goes public opinion, sa atin being government workers, hindi natin talaga maiwasan din yon. So it's
Lalo
really
na po ngayon. Mas nag-iba na yung avenue for public opinion eh. Madali nang makita, madali na pong maramdaman. Although minsan hindi natin alam kung totoo ba, troll or what. But really, public opinion has a different picture. So I think mas kailangan din mas palakasin mo yung focus mo on the objectives that you want to achieve. Otherwise, you will be easily swayed by public opinion. But at the same time, you have to be sensitive as well to feel what really is the thing on the ground. So importante pa rin makita mo ano ang pangkalahatan na public opinion, but at the same time it shouldn't be the only consideration that you should have.
Yes, and at the end of the day, Ma'am Bes, no, just to follow up on that, yung moral compass is really very important, and of course, talking about the moral compass is the Thomasian values that we all carry, that hopefully will guide us in everything that we are doing. Medyo kasi tayo, Attorney Marivic, no, ikaw medyo mas bata ka pa ng konti. Kami ni Ma'am Bes medyo retireable na, di ba? But ayaw aminin ni Ma'am Bes. But Ma'am Bes, no, that's something also that you had to contend with, no, in your career. I'm sure, being a woman, being a mother, and then all these challenges that you went through.
Yes po. Sabi ko nga, swerte na tayo doon bilang Tomasino. Masyadong na-embed na sa atin yung napakagandang moral compass po na without us realizing it's already part of our system. So, hindi na po siya isang bagay na mahihirapan tayong hanapin pa. The moment we graduated and we step out of the four corners of the UST, wala pong graduate dyan ng walang at the end of the day would ask, ano ba ang pagiging isang mabuting tao? At yun po yung na-embed sa atin ng kultura ng pagiging Tomasino po. I would say.
Ang ganda ng sinabi mo.
Salamat.
Tayong time. May quick question lang ako. Doon among the senatorial candidates kasi may mga candidates na ang professions nila hindi natutungo doon sa paggawa ng pag-craft ng legislation. And in fact, they're so off tangent from that particular work or occupation. Meron bang educational arm ang Senate for them to have at least before going in before sila masabak sa floor, sa Senate floor, meron bang mga nagtuturo ng mga parliamentary procedures, for example, and how long does it take for them?
Ma'am, actually it's my department po, being the legislation po department, is tasked to at least give a brief orientation with the newly elected senators po in terms of the practices that we observe here. Pero yun nga po yung sinasabi ko, ma'am, na nung tinanong niyo po ako ano ba ang mga qualities, dapat kasi ma'am meron ka ng knowledge in terms of what to expect. Meron ka ng, kumbaga meron ka pong maibibigay sa mesa. Ito ang contribution ko. Yung constitution natin doesn't require any educational attainment po, able to read and write. Pero hindi rin po naman sinasabi na dapat abogado lang ang ma-elect as senator or doktor lang. Kasi po, ako rin, ang paggagawa ng batas, it's a very, very wide eh. Hindi po siya concentrated lang sa legal or concentrated lang sa science. So talagang kahit ano man po ang iyong background po, pwede ka naman talaga maging senador. Pero dapat din po nandoon yung willingness mo to learn, meron ka nang maiko-contribute sa floor. Kasi po, tandaan po natin, the moment you get elected po, yung 6 years mo pong term, tumatakbo na po yan. So kung mag-aaral ka pa lang po, baka may nasayang ka ng taon, medyo na-deprive mo na yung mga tao dahil dapat meron ka nang nagawa para sa kanila. So kung pag-aaralin mo pa lang sila, medyo mahirap po yata yung ganun. Although our legislation department po provides that kind of walkthrough lang po. But at the end of the day, yung paggawa nila ng polisiya, how they would understand, how would they handle the crafting of the law, how would they write the intent and the spirit of the law that they want to craft, hindi po namin maituturo yun as it is. Nasa sa kanila po yun bilang merong mandato na inelect ng taong bayan po.
And it's great that tulad ng sinabi nga ni Attorney Marivic, it's their role na at least to share the knowledge that they can with the new legislators, and it's very good na like Attorney Marivic, 20 years na siya dyan. She has seen all the past, many of the past senators, and I'm sure marami ka ring natutunan sa kanila, no, Attorney Marivic?
Marami rin po, yes po. More than the knowledge, their intelligence po, the likes po nila Senator Miriam, nila Senator Juan Ponce Enrile, yung ano po, yung wisdom on doing things. That's one thing po. Ang kaya lang po naming maibahagi sa parte po ng secretariat would be the institutional knowledge, which medyo lalamang po kami being here, and then as compared po sa newly elected, yun po mai-share namin. But yung pinaka-substansya po or pinaka-sustansya ng pagiging mambabatas, we can only assist them to get that, but we will not be able to perform that for them kasi sa kanila po ang mandato.
Yes, and Ma'am Bes, no, it's a pity that time runs so fast, and
Bilis
just
na po pala nun, naka-1 oras na po pala yun.
Marami pa atang gusto kong i-ano, pero ano na, sige. We have to end the show.
That's right, that's right. And thank you, Attorney Marivic. And we're hoping that in the future we can have you again as a guest.
Anytime po, sir.
Yes,
It will be an
not-
honor.
Yes, probably not talking about the Senate itself already, but lots of the measures that you are considering there, no, nasabi mo kanina na ang daming sectors, ang daming polisiya na probably we can also invite you to discuss. But today, we're very proud that we have Batongasian serving in the Senate at the Secretariat, and we're also very proud to know that, it's women power.
Yes.
Kanina napag-usapan natin, Tomasians.
Tomasian women power, sir. Para mas, mas
Yes.
komprehensibo.
Mas komprehensibo. And I think that's one of the yung positive about UST is that, marami talaga tayong women power dyan, not only in terms of the students, the professors, but also the staff. And we are glad that we are able to share this to the world. And of course, I have 2 examples here right in front of me, Ma'am Bes, and of course, Attorney Marivic. So, thank you to the 2 of you.
Thank you, Sir Dwight and Ma'am Bes. Isa pong malaking karangalan na mapasama po dito sa Bridges po na ito. Napakasaya ko po.
Thank you. And kami rin, syempre, we're very happy, and you have really enlightened us about the Senate, not only its ins and outs, but also on how to really make it one that really serves the people. No? What does it take? And again, we're very glad that one of us, Tomasians, are making sure of that. So once again, thank you, Attorney Marivic.
Salamat po, sir.
Happy Women's Month. And of course, thank you for our announcements. We thank you, the UST Alumni Association Inc., the Law Alumni Foundation, for sponsoring this episode of Bridges. And so Please note that we have a Lenten recollection. No, yan ang maganda sa atin UST, the College of Education Alumni Foundation Inc. in partnership with the UST Alumni Association Inc. We have the Lenten recollection happening on March 22. That's a Saturday. Ito is face-to-face and online, which means hybrid, and the theme is fraternity and hope. So once again, dear friends, thank you for joining us into today's episode. Do watch Bridges again on Tuesday for another exciting episode. And please remember to subscribe to our UST Tomasian Alumni Community YouTube channel and Facebook page. The past episodes of Bridges can be watched in our YouTube channel and FB page. It was a pleasure joining you today, and of course, Ma'am Bess here in Bridges. Happy Women's Month, ladies. But before we go, there's another lady that we'd like to mention. Of course, she has been with us at the AAI and also the Bridges since the beginning, our technical staff, and who is celebrating her birthday on Friday. So happy birthday.
Happy
Yay.
birthday!
And happy birthday as well to all the other birthday celebrators at AAI. Meron pa tayo dyan, of course, this whole month of March, and Kay also recently graduated in her course. I got wind of at Ma'am Bess, no? So Ma'am Bess, maraming salamat. Also part of the women power that we have. And remember, here at Bridges, we do not build walls, we build connections to reach out to one another.
Together we say we build bridges, faith,
faith,
bridges of hope,
and bridges of love. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And
Mabuhay.
mabuhay po tayong lahat. See you next Tuesday.